lanes, the fact that you blind pick, well, I say you don't blind pick, what am I saying? You pick a Darius into the Yone, you're very clearly saying, I want to fight this match.
Yeah, I think if points, they're leaving that Darius pick for last, and we'll see how Dplus Kia can deal with it, because it's Kingen in the top lane on that Yone. As you say, they have a lot of scaling, but
2-0, and they will be joining alongside Genji, Hanwha Life, and LNG. No easy matchup there.
And I think it's a winner's bracket tomorrow as well, those best of three.
So you're thrust into it immediately.
Yeah, we'll see.
Meanwhile, the loser will move into the 1-1 bracket, where there's a bunch of strong teams. If you haven't been paying attention, there is a couple good teams in there.
Yeah, just a few. We'll have to wait for that. For now, we have a smorgasbord of League of Legends on the cards. Both the supports going for sweepers on their first trinkets here.
I will say, the global power rankings, powered by AWS, the reason why I'm a fan of it is it just like, it's that statistical analysis, right? So it doesn't take into account all the subjectivity and all these other things, like the human eye test, right? But I think it paints this nice picture of the 16 versus 7 ranking. Yeah. And also, there's just a little bit more to play for. The elo you can gain by getting an upset win.
Yeah, who cares about winning worlds? You're playing for elo.
Every solo queue player's dream,
of a League of Legends player.
But yeah,
we've basically gone back to old elo in solo queues. It's like, I'll go from the 1,350 to 1,354.
It's true. It's really
true. And win this game. We talked about FLYQuest not wanting a lane swap. It looks like Dplus Kia might want one of their own, and that makes sense. Yeah. They're going to try and force a Bwipo out of the jungle here. Moham going to follow up on that ward being placed. Bone plating procced on Bwipo. All the while, Inspired is... I mean, he might as well. If you can get those hemorrhage stacks up, it's like 50 AD early doors. He's going in with the ghost. Going to get knocked up. ShowMaker chasing him down. The Ignite's ticking. Bwipo flashes. And he'll survive. Burns both his summoners for the luxury.
Bwipo, man, never change. He used both his summoners to go into a 1 versus 3. Gets the Ignite out from Moham. No other summoners were used, but now the map is split. The traditional swap that we've been seeing so much is the top laner groups up with the AD carry to get that experience. Support goes to mid to help get the level 2. Then the support roams to bot. The TP comes in, and they have to try and outplay the 2 versus 2. Fast push coming in from the FLYQuest bot lane.
How is Bwipo going to get to this lane, man?
I mean, he's heading top.
Yeah, but how is he going to get to the lane?
Yeah, I don't think he is mid.
Yeah, nor do I. Oh, can he? Can't steal it. Can't gain range.
Doesn't have Q, so he can't. I mean, he can steal a couple of them.
It's 14 gold a pop. Living large.
I mean, of course, that's the big thing we didn't talk about, right? The lack of TP really changes the dynamic of the lane swap, right? Now Kingen choosing not to go to bot lane because they realize how much they're starving Bwipo. Busio still level 1, not being able to tick over just yet.
The other thing for Kingen was he didn't know where Busio was on the map. He didn't know where Inspired was on the map. So if he teleports to bot lane at that point, he could just be dived by the 3 of them, right? So well,
I mean, that's the usual play, right? The support comes bot, you try and then outplay the 2 versus 4.
So it could have been waiting for Moham to get down towards that bottom lane and then TP if we saw a conglomeration of FLYQuest down there. Because we don't, it looks like it's just going to be aiming, backing away, and Kingen staying in top.
What I think is super interesting is Massu and Busio now have the wave pushing back into them. So they're actually just setting up like a slow push, and they're quite happy to, well, not threaten the tower, not play for plates. They were able to get 1, but now Bwipo has been able to go back to what is effectively a standard lane. And sure, you've been able to avoid some of the early levels, but I think FLYQuest, they're still in a very good position. You can see your AD carry in a very comfortable spot. ShowMaker.
Flash from Busio. Oh, he was looking for the flash shield of Daybreak there, but didn't quite get the auto off in time. ShowMaker flashes away. Very close there, but still summoner for summoner, and Busio has the Hex Flash. Massu here catching the wave. FLYQuest played the lane swap really well yesterday as well. We're able to get a lot more gold out of the exchange than their rivals. Lucid here, he cleared out the Krugs, took a few camps away from the top side, but Inspired has a 2-camp lead right now, and there's no camps for Lucid to take in his bot side.
Just keeping track of the map right now. Inspired able to catch the respawn of the Raptors. Massu and Busio with some nice trading. Of course, Busio a little bit down on experience, but once these minions drop, he should be able to tick over to level 3. With that W on the Leona, you get so much more power in the laning phase. And speaking of...
Busio going in. Moham here will get the shield from the crash down. We saw FLYQuest actually pinging this next wave when it was about halfway the way to their lane. So they know this is where they want to get the wave shoved in and then likely get a base off. get those first items. You see Aiming already has that tier.
It's going to be spotted on that ward.
They'll force this away and then they'll be able to get back. ShowMaker without flash, a lot more susceptible to Quad's damage in the mid lane.
Quad, in addition to the roster that I think has proved very fruitful.
Yeah,
for
100%.
We've heard Bwipo talking about how much more confidence they have in Quad and what he's been able to do for FLYQuest since his introduction to the league.
I mean, there were a lot of debates about whether Jensen being off the team was the right decision, right? It was all a buzz in the League of Legends world for a while, but seems like it's been pretty fruitful as Aiming's going to get stunned up here. Yeah, huge tempo loss for Aiming.
He frees the wave, but he completely interrupts the back. Now he's susceptible for a potential gank. You can see ShowMaker moving into the bot river. Maybe he wants to look for a bit of vision, but Aiming now has to be scared. It's going to be a lot of farm lost. Nicely done from Busio. Really setting up his AD carry for success right now. Meanwhile, Inspired's just been power farming, as he often does.
Already has that Fated Ashes. Aiming has to flap his way away. And often you'll see junglers want their lanes to be pushing in when they start a Drake like this, but because the lane is effectively frozen, Busio can move up and help Inspired out with this Drake.
But also, Aiming now has to base.
Yeah.
So you try and fast push so that forces him to lose another wave.
It's really well done by FLYQuest.
But are they actually going to do that?
No. But they can keep it frozen.
The wave spot, but...
Oh, flash in onto Quad, who still has a flash of his own. Does he have the time to get it off? Unleash power, stolen by ShowMaker. And there's a reason he's in every cinematic as Syndra. Even when he steals the ult, it's effective.
I mean, nicely done there from Moham. Finds a nice window, knows that his AD carry was in an awkward position, had to go back to base. They've now swapped him up to top lane, given the state of the bot lane wave, threatening a dive onto Bwipo. It is Dplus Kia that draw first blood. They're able to secure the grubs as well. Now Bwipo, recognizing he's in danger, forced off the wave.
Bwipo's been forced right off here. Kingen and Aiming should be able to at least get a play. Inspired and Busio on their way across. Bwipo able to walk away from this, then goes forward. He's looking for the apprehend, but he's met by 4 members of Dplus Kia. A little bit earlier there from Bwipo and meets an early grave.
An ambitious play from Bwipo. He thought that Moham had overstepped, but the collapse that came through from DK was so quick, and crucially, Kingen gets that kill as well, alleviating some of the pressure that Bwipo can have in this 1v1 matchup. Arrow connects.
So, I think...
I wonder... Oh!
Yeah, it's the arrow in case Kingen immediately TPs, and then the arrow would interrupt his teleport, right? So, it's a cool, cute idea. While we see ShowMaker trading with Quad in the mid lane.
Very nice trade from ShowMaker.
One of the problems I have with mistakes like that from Bwipo, where he just oversteps a little bit, is it relieves so much pressure from Dplus Kia, right? If Bwipo walks away, doesn't immediately go in, and then Busio and Inspired come across to cover a possible top lane dive, all the gain that Massu is getting in the bot lane is net positive. But because Bwipo dies, Massu got an advantage in bot lane. He's 11 CS up, he's 200 gold ahead, but you can see Kingen 650 ahead in the top lane. It doesn't give you... It's a law of equivalent exchange, it feels like. Bwipo has to die for Massu to get things in the bot lane.
I understood why he did it, though, with Busio on the way and thinking that Moham made the overstep.
Yeah,
like
I get the idea, it just didn't work.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Both neutral objectives now about 2.5 minutes away. So it'll just mainly be a lot of laning. The supports are going to be roaming around the map, looking to cover their laners. Massu with another push in top lane. He's built himself up a healthy lead over Aiming, largely because of how they've managed the wave in the early laning phase, as you highlighted. Moham, though, sets his sights on mid once more. Quad still has the flash.
Might have to invest it here. Busio's on his way away. Quad flashes out, manages to escape. ShowMaker stole the Solar Flare. Wasn't able to connect it onto Quad.
But Moham's doing so much work in this mid
all
matchup.
over the map right now.
After they were able to get ShowMaker's flash early, you'd think that this would be so advantageous for Quad. He should be able to really bully out this Sylas, but that's the scary thing about Sylas. Once you get a couple levels, that Electrocute gives you so much trading power. Now Massu forced to disengage, given the Dplus hovering around the top side of the map. They have pressure in mid, pressure on top. Kingen, meanwhile, is happily farming on the bot side of the map. So everything going the way of Dplus Kia right now.
Aiming's going to be given even more gold in this top side, trying to even him out with Massu. And this is something Dplus Kia did for the entirety of the split. Just funnel gold into Aiming. Busio underneath the tower, caught with a Shadowing Strike. He's pretty tanky. The arrow coming down as well. Lucid's going to tank it. Moham needs to get out because he falls to the turret. Dplus Kia will get one in response. ShowMaker taking his second kill of the game.
I mean, a 1-for-1 in that situation. Well played by Busio. Doesn't expend the flash either. Massu has to be careful though with ShowMaker. Low on mana. Oh, Lucid though with the wraparound, and there's no Inspired here to cover.
Lucid has the Vault Breaker. ShowMaker chases in. The cleanse a moment too late. Aiming gets the kill. And Dplus Kia continue to invest gold into him. Inspired is waiting for Lucid here. The bandage just short. Inspired on the Amumu. Can't find any friends to fight. He flashes, he gets him. The tantrum will bring down Lucid.
At the very least, it's a 1-for-1, but that tower is going to drop. All of the plates secured in this top lane. And crucially, that advantage that Massu had built up for himself, the coverage wasn't there for FLYQuest. That gap has now been closed. Aiming, he really wants to get this local gold. Inspired's not going to let him have it.
I mean, that's good from Inspired, forces him away, make sure Aiming can't get it. But this sort of play pattern of repeatedly going back to Aiming's lane, trying to get him into a good position is something we saw from Dplus Kia through the entirety of summer. It's how they played. Aiming, an incredible AD carry, has had an incredible summer split. A lot of this is because Dplus Kia love putting all the eggs in the Aiming basket.
I mean, so many times we saw him single-handedly carry games for Dplus Kia from the regular season. And even in playoffs, he was having some stellar performances. And so far, even though his early laning phase didn't quite go the way that he wanted, he still finds himself down in CS. That gold slowly being funneled back into him. But really, the stars of this game right now are the solo laners of Dplus Kia. Kingen has handled the lane swap beautifully. They've punished the fact that Bwipo doesn't have TP incredibly well. And Bwipo, with a few oversteps, has ultimately cost him massively as this Yone continues to ramp up. I was skeptical about this composition that came through from Dplus, but ultimately a lot of comfort, specifically for ShowMaker in the mid lane, and they're making it work here in the early game.
We haven't really seen the FLYQuest composition truly come alive yet. Like, Inspired has been involved in one kill. That was a flash bandage shot in the top lane. When they start to get some of this AoE really going, when they start to get some of this pick really going, we might see it be a little bit more explosive. Inspired was looking for a second Drake here. He's going to be forced away by Aiming and Moham. Lucid coming across. They don't keep the Drake aggroed fully as it goes back. Loses a bit of patience, but will be taken in the end by Lucid. I do have a fun fact for you, Betty. Last time we saw a Mumu jungle at Worlds, Season 2. It was Cloud Templar who won on it back then, so Inspired bringing back the old classics.
That long?
Yeah, we saw a lot of Amumu support for a while in that one play-ins, and then it disappeared for the entirety of the main stage. I remember that
play-ins. Everyone was so excited about it.
Was that an Echo jungle we saw a ton of, and then just never happened again in the main stage.
Cool, that was a fun fact, especially seeing how much Amumu we've seen domestically from all over the world, really.
And also from Inspired, like, it's something he wasn't playing for the entirety of the year, but he picked up relatively recently and has really been quite explosive on it. The like Andries build as well, something I mean, that's crucial, right?
So what we saw yesterday was Dplus Kia build a lead against Fnatic and then fall short in the fight. Right? Now, FLYQuest have a great team fighting comp.
They do.
Especially with Leona Amumu as its foundation. It's all a question of can the damage dealers dish the damage, right? Now, of course, with the solo laners being as fed as they are on Dplus Kia, you don't really want to try and force a fight yet. You want to get to those first core items, you want to wait a little bit. So the best thing for now for FLYQuest is to try and slow the game down, wait until they get those crucial spikes, and then look for a little fight later. Don't try and overforce, because you're at a deficit, but it's nothing too dramatic that you can't get yourself out of. So it's not all doom and gloom yet for FLYQuest by any means, and that's an ulti from Kingen. Cautious of the fact that he is on the weak side of the map and FLYQuest are looking for a collapse. We're bumping both his sums though, once again to try and make a play happen, and it doesn't come to fruition.
Couldn't quite find it. Massu here to match the push in the mid lane. Level 10 to level 8, you can see how long Massu was alone on a side lane, just farming up as much gold as he could and as much experience as he could. Kingen here once again going to back away, uses the flashes. Inspired was waiting, lying in wait in that bush. Dplus Kia going to try and do the same towards the top side. Quad very respectful of the fact he sees no one from DK, and then he steps up, the Vault Breaker comes out, the arrow too, hits the stun on the ShowMaker, and Quad manages to escape. Less respectful than he was. Like, he was very respectful for a second, and then he walked up. And he had to be bailed out by the Rookie of the Year, Massu, with that arrow saving his life.
Yeah, lost his flash in the process as well. The top tier 2 goes down, and while FLYQuest want to try and slow the game down, Dplus Kia, woohoo, yeah, Blade of the Ruined King, Yone.
Yeah, Yone's the pick of the tournament, isn't it?
It's one of those things where, like, for people that haven't played this champ, like, the champ just changes when you get this item. Like, it's crazy how much stronger you get with a single item. Berserker's Greaves and this, it's just such a massive power spike. And yeah, Bwipo, now he's completed the Stride Breaker, so at least you'll have a little bit more combat prowess, but the idea behind this matchup is that you get to really bully in the early stages when the Yone just can't fight back because he doesn't have levels or any items where he really can't trade against you. But Bwipo didn't get that.
Yep.
There was so much swapping in the early laning phase, the lack of TP really hurt him. He's now 15, nearly 20 CS down, and with the Blade completed, it's now going to be much harder.
And the lead that FLYQuest were able to materialize on Massu through that lane swap, through good management of those waves, is now dissipated. That's the word I was looking for, dissipated. Aiming only about a level behind, still impactful, around 600 gold for a level worth of stats, but in terms of gold, he's actually 150 ahead, so he's in a very strong position. Hasn't scaled up as much as he'd want on this Smolder, only 104 stacks. You can see that just below his portrait, but still, his team is in prime position to allow him to keep stacking up.
One thing that really scares me from the perspective of FLYQuest is I look at this map and I see, so we don't have anyone that can fight Kingen anymore. ShowMaker is 2-0-1, and they're going to try and dive him.
Seals the Amumu ultimate. Curse of the Sad Mummy, a possibility. ShowMaker stunned for so long, he lands the curse, the hemorrhage. Noxine guillotine, hemorrhage is again stacking up on ShowMaker. He tries to get some lifesteal back, and he will expire at the last possible moment. And now Dplus Kia on the attack. Bolt breaker in, quad locked up, no flash for him. The Magnet Storm will pull him back, and alongside him in the grave will fall Busio. 2 to DK. ShowMaker TP back in. Bwipo able to dodge away from the abscond, abduct the Stride Breaker for a little bit of extra movement speed, but you can't dodge the second. ShowMaker 4-0 on Silas.
And it comes back to what I was just about to say. The thing that I'm scared of from FLYQuest POV is the side lanes. What do you do? Because you can't win on one side, you try to make a play on the other, and ShowMaker just demonstrated, let me outplay you, okay? And this is why his silence is so big. Steals away the Amumu ultimate, has the W to get the lifesteal back, but he throws the ultimate first to incapacitate them, gets the health back, and then he flashes away to safety. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, Kingen says, I can 2v1 you guys, because I've got Blade of the Ruin King, but also I'm setting up for my team, ready for the collapse, and we're already back into the action.
Busio blast cones to safety. ShowMaker's still on the chase. He goes back in with an abscond abduct flash away from Busio. They might be able to turn this one around. There's a big bounty on ShowMaker's head, and Massu will secure it. Mom called as well as aiming tries to disengage the play. Busio looking for a little bit more. The arrow onto Moham. The apprehend will pull him back, and Quad takes the kill. FLYQuest find 2 out of nothing.
So some crucial picks to alleviate some of the snowball that is coming through from Dplus Kia. They overstep their boundaries. You can tell that ShowMaker's having some fun with this one, really pushing the limits of his champion to try and find more kills. But you know what the craziest thing about all of this is? They've got these side lane threats that are obviously very difficult to deal with, but the biggest problem is the wave clear coming in from the Smolder in the mid lane as well. Now the Dragon started off.
Kingen going in, Lucid looking for the steal here as well. Massu has cleanse and flash. Cease and desist not available for Lucid. Vault Breakers into the pit. Kingen looking for that blast cone as well. TP in as well. FLYQuest want to take the fight. Lucid flashing out. Tempered Fate going out onto the back line, but look at the damage that Massu can already put out. Moham's in the middle of the pit. The dive in with a cease and desist, but Massu is untouched. This is huge for FLYQuest. ShowMaker and aiming trying to do everything they can to fight from a losing position. But Dplus Kia took the fight and FLYQuest slapped them down.
The coordination was all over the place from Dplus Kia, and FLYQuest take advantage of it. We talked about how their strength will be in the team fights, and this time they were able to find the outplay.
Massu just had so much free time on the back of that fight. Quad as well. Now both of them sitting at 3 kills. Massu has a gold lead. We'll have another look at this battle.
So you see first, Lucid goes in, but he goes in alone. So he then gets forced out of the pit very quickly off the fact that Inspired just says, I'm not going to give you this opportunity. Single target ultimate, but it doesn't matter because the job gets done. They force him out of the fight. Kingen then tries to get an ultimate onto Massu. Nice flash from him to get away to safety as the objective is secured. But now look, ShowMaker's off on the left. Aiming's trying to hit whatever target he can, but he's not doing that much damage this early on. And as you highlighted, Massu is just untouched with Quad right next to him. So they're just free to do so much damage against so many melee members on the side of Dplus Kia that they're able to find 4 kills.
If that's not the most Dplus Kia player I've ever seen in my life.
Correct.
That is just what they do. ShowMaker took so long to be able to join that fight.
It's so strange that I can hear Mao. Yeah. Like it's, he's just sitting here in my ear going, why?
Why did they do that? So we've had you be Jack, now we've had you be Chronicler. Yeah. Who do you want to be next, Very Freak? This is what peak team fights look like. It comes from Dplus Kia. But a great leave here for FLYQuest.
Let's create a summary.
Okay, let's do it.
Side lane's still a problem for FLYQuest, but they've got a clear win condition, which is the 5v5s.
True.
So now they need to be playing for these objectives, and they need to minimize their losses, as I say that.
Arrow, solar flare onto Lucid, lands the stun, bandage shots for the follow-up, and Lucid is done. Busio securing the kill, and this is the pick comp we talked about for FLYQuest.
Now,
let's create a summary, Venice.
I know, I have to slightly
better for
Chronicler is messaging me once more. He says, can you ask Lucid why? So let's look. Now, the push in bot had come through from Kingen, and so you imagine that Lucid was on the bot side jungle to set up some vision. Kingen...
Do we also need to ask Kingen why? Trying to seal the fate of Quad. Inspired here. The scat of the week knocking him back out of the bandage toss, but the chase continues. He flashes into the curse of the sad mummy. He's not out. Very a volley. The arrow pierces his back. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Bwipo might just solo kill ShowMaker. He gets him. What the hell is happening?
This is peak League of Legends, baby. FLYQuest are finding picks on the solo laners. We just talked about how they're the biggest strength for Dplus Kia, but now things are falling apart as Dplus tried to get something back on the top side.
Weep, weep. Here's the sound of the police as Dplus Kia are looking to arrest Bwipo for that play. The Avengers on their way. FLYQuest trying to find solace in a fight after Bwipo falls. He'll go down first. Now the collapse begins from FLYQuest. Quad coming in from the side as well, has that unleashed power. Aiming locked up with a stun. They knock him back. The arrow goes in as well, and aiming is done for. Moham and Lucid trying to escape with the bandage shots. Finds Moham.
Baron? Is that a Baron for FLYQuest?
Angle. ShowMaker's alive. So's Lucid and Kingen. FLYQuest, will you go for the play instead? The tower, a more worthy prize it seems. The gold will be even, Betty.
24 kills, 22 minutes. Oh, this is fantastic. Kingen, though, looking to get something back for DK. All 4 members were committed to the top side of the map. Oh, the smite!
Oh no, Massu, you were on a ward. He's going to try and escape, but ShowMaker still has an arrow in his quiver, and he's looking for Quad. He finds him. Massu able to dodge away from the abscondact dot, but he can't dodge away from ShowMaker's fists. It's a free-for-all fight, Betty, and I'm loving it.
Lucid now is a Baron. It might just be. There's a ward there. Inspired. Where is he? He's on the top side of the map. He's going to have to cancel his recall. As now the objective is started. Bwipo doesn't have the flash available. Moham, the blast cone.
Kingen jumps in onto Bwipo. Inspired diving in as well. But Dplus Kia were just looking for the fight. Inspired falls low. The chase continues as Busio falls lower. Kingen will take him out even with a Zenith Blade going back in. Dplus Kia will turn their eyes back towards the Baron.
I mean, this seesaw is going faster than I am prepared for, Medic, but it looks like Dplus Kia is going to secure the Baron. A single ward was all it took. ShowMaker returns to top lane, finds a pick onto Massu, lines a nice arrow onto Quad, and with those 2 kills, they convert it into a fight. Smart decision from them to not turn it into a 50-50 and instead shut down those FLYQuest members. Now we find ourselves back where we were earlier, with FLYQuest having to find another great fight to turn this game around.
Lots of people have lots of reasons for why they like certain Dragon Souls. I can tell you my favorite, Betty. It's the Hex Soul, because the gates mean more fighting.
That it does.
Dplus Kia immediately use the gates to get back out onto the Rift. FLYQuest are trying to gain control of the area. They'll take the Scuttle Crab, but I don't know if they'll take the Barney around the Dragon. It's going to be second of the game for DK. Kingen pushing in that bot lane, 3,000 gold ahead. Now has a QSS as well to mitigate a little bit of the CC that comes out from FLYQuest, but they do have a lot at their disposal.
I'm taking a breather.
Okay. Do you want me to just keep going for a little bit?
It's okay, because the audience needs one too.
Okay.
We find ourselves at 28 kills, 24 minutes in. Dplus Kia once again in the driver's seat. Dragon secured. With the Baron buff, they're going to be looking at, well, the base towers now, because all the tier 2s have fallen. I guess we didn't really talk about that. It was 6 towers to do. There's been so much fighting. FLYQuest, they had the momentum at their back. They were finding fight after fight, pick after pick.
Bwipo is the one who's been picked here. No flash, no ghosts, and no hope you have to feel. Kingen goes into the soul and bound, hits the Q3. And the Mortal Steel shows that Bwipo is just that. Inspired. Moham's like just around, but you can see Aiming's around the corner. Lucid's on his way as well. Massu came in with a Hex Gate. The red resets. Busio trying to get onto ShowMaker. Inspired, the next target for Dplus Kia. Here's Mom, and she's not happy with Inspired. FLYQuest lose 2. The Baron's still on the backs of DK for the next minute's time as well. It may be inhibitor time for Dplus Kia.
I mean, things are just kind of fallen too far apart now for FLYQuest. With the top lane pushing in, Bwipo tried to push that wave out to slow down the siege from Dplus, but now the siege is ready. TP comes in, mid wave is being pushed in, top wave as well. They only have 4 members alive. Bwipo makes his way back onto the map.
Cease and desist forward. ShowMaker's like, good. You're good, Lucid. Sayonara 07's in the chat. But Lucid, as he falls, FLYQuest will lose their inhibitor as well.
I mean, they get the inhibitor. That's what they wanted.
That's a one-way ticket to a grave right there.
I mean, they get Massu's flash, I guess is the positive. They still walk away the victors. Listen, my job is to explain, man.
I mean, Lucid's a type of dreaming, and I'm pretty sure sometimes here I've been in a bit of a nightmare, but what a game it's been. 6,000 gold, the lead now for Dplus Kia. No objectives on the map for the next few moments at least. The Red Bull Baron power play about 2k for DK, and they got an inhibitor out of it as well. Now they'll start looking at mid and bot push. Kingen jumping back in. Busio looking for the solar flare. The dash out by Kingen keeps him alive. FLYQuest only 4 here. Met by 4 of Dplus Kia.
I mean, quietly on the back lines, Aiming continues to pick up gold and farm. Bwipo now caught out.
Yeah, less quietly on the front lines. Bwipo's going in once again. Looks for the apprehend. Kingen has the flank on him. He'll dash back, knock back with the scatter of the weak. Unleash power! A storm surge enough, and now the bandage shots in. A one-man order, but onto Lucid, but ShowMaker's diving the backline. Massu has no flash, no cleanse, but he manages to escape. Lucid falling low, Inspired, and Busio still pretty tanky here with the Magna Storm coming in. Aiming's on the chase, he'll make it 2. One goes over to Lucid, one for Aiming. And for a moment, I thought perhaps FLYQuest had a lifeline, but Dplus Kia pulled the life ring up behind them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Medic. I really thought Dplus Kia had gone for another poor fight once again, but they turned it around. They did enough damage to the backline. Massu and Quad were zoned away into the mid lane. They were forced to retreat, meaning that Inspired and Busio were left to fend for themselves. They couldn't quite find the damage to turn the fight in their favor. But what a violent affair this game really has been. Back and forth, non-stop skirmishing. It's really what we've come to expect from watching Dplus Kia. And FLYQuest, they've found incredible opportunities, but unfortunately haven't really been able to hold onto them. They haven't been able to convert it into that much control. Have to bring your attention back to the towers. 7-2 now. FLYQuest really haven't been able to convert much off the back of finding the kills that they did.
Every opportunity has been met by an equal and opposite not-opportunity, as Bwipo here is caught out. The apprehend going out as well. The arrow connects, but great jump back there by Kingen, saving his jungler's life most definitely. The Noxian Guillotine was on the cards for Bwipo. Baron up in a minute's time. ShowMaker looking for the flank here. He's behind Inspired and Busio, and if Quad goes the wrong way, could be caught out. ShowMaker dashes back out. Kingen's going to be left in a side lane to push into Bwipo, who's going to struggle to deal with the level 16 Yone, who has 2.5 items at his back. Moham stepping forward. Busio forced away. Can't clear the control ward. Another scat of the week from Quad. Not going to do too much. The wave pushing in the top lane. Solar flare wide by ShowMaker, but not by Busio. As ShowMaker falls low. Inspired, though, on the front line is immediately burst out. And now Dplus Kia are in a 4v5 for the next 40 seconds. They have a wave in the bot lane.
Love the idea there from Inspired. Try and burst down ShowMaker before he has an opportunity to respond, but the stopwatch was able to come through, and they could turn the play around now without the front line.
Yeah,
DK are looking to siege.
And Bwipo's trying to do so much, but you can't really do much into Dplus Kia. They have the range, they have the minions pushing in. The inhibitor tower full. ShowMaker dashes to the bot lane. We'll tank a couple of tower shots for the pleasure, as Aiming is left in mid lane to take down that inhibitor. FLYQuest on their last legs. Can they find some steadiness in them? The arrow wide from ShowMaker. That's the last 2 ultimates he's missed. Not really an important stat, but just like to track it, you know. Solar flare and the arrow going wide, but forces FLYQuest away. 2 inhibitor towers, 3 inhibitor towers and 2 inhibitors down so far for Dplus Kia. 29 minutes on the clock, and the Baron and the Drake alive. It would only be the 3rd for either team, so the Dragon less of a priority than that big purple worm.
FlyQuest really find themselves full-on turtle mode now as their base lies in tatters. They can afford to give another dragon up. If they could steal it away, the objective bounty would be a nice bit of coin to help stall the game out. 3 items finished for both their carries. Maybe if they can find a good angle, a good target, there's opportunities, but it's going to be tough. Dplus Kia continue to spread out the map and set their sights on the bot lane inhibitor.
Aiming well above that 225 mark as well for his stacks. Not as stacked as usually a Smolder would be at this point in the game, usually looking like 10 a minute at least.
But it has been chaos.
It has been chaos, and he's got the execution, which is all he really cares about, right? The extra little bit of burn damage from having those more stacks doesn't really matter when you're 7,000 gold ahead and your solo laners are a combined 4.1 thousand gold ahead of their counterparts. Third Drake of the game for Dplus Kia. Inhibitor starting to respawn in that top lane. The mid one still 330 away. And FLYQuest just trying to get all the gold they can for now. They've got 3 items on their AD carry, 3 on quad as well. The Syndra will burst, but who are you going to burst through? ShowMaker, deceptively tanky here, almost has 3,000 HP on the Sylas, also has a Zhonya's. The Baron begun by Dplus Kia. Kingen looking for the flank on Massu, who puts the arrow down and wasn't expecting it. He flashes away, inspired! That's a special delivery. Inspired going for more of the QSS out, but the Baron's being done. FlyQuest, while all of this happens, who cares? If you kill Kingen, you can't even take him out that quickly. The Baron will be secured by Dplus Kia. FlyQuest got whatever little meager bit of hope they could from killing Kingen, and immediately they see that purple buff around Dplus Kia.
They recognize the gold difference is massive, so even if they try and force the fight, there's no guarantee that they can win it. Instead, they'll take the pick, deny at the very least 1 Baron buff, making that split push threat slightly better. But of course, back still against the wall. They're going to try and stall for as long as they can, wait for that single fight that could potentially turn the entire game around, get quad level 16, those 3 points in his ultimate for that extra bit of damage.
He's stacked up 120 splinters as well, so has that extra AP, the execute as well, on his ultimate if he can find someone. Massu, importantly, no flash.
But look at the position of FlyQuest right now. 2 members quite pushed up on the top lane. Bwipo, ooh, that is quite far up, but he's not going to be punished for it. Dplus Kia playing through 2 lanes. They know they have the super minions in top to keep that pressure going.
Is he going to TP to top lane here? Or is he just going to run out, use those Hex Gates? The Baron on DK for the next 2 minutes, currently just shepherding in these minions. The top lane inhib, obviously an option for them. The wave not in the best of spots. It looks like Kingen's going up there to rectify that situation, and aiming starting to put quite a lot of damage down onto Bwipo from range. That rapid fire cannon doing work in this exchange. The inhibitor already down to half HP. FlyQuest, like, what can you do? You just got to shotgun engage, but Busio has no flash either. You need a solar flare, you need a scatter the weak, you need something special from someone, because right now you are just bleeding out. The solar flare from ShowMaker likely expiring. Chucks it out to see if anyone is expiring alongside it. Kingen looking for that 3rd inhib, and likely the final nail in FlyQuest's coffin. Kingen dashes back. Moham still looking for the engage. FlyQuest still haven't pulled the trigger. They've got the finger on it, but they can't find the engage. 3rd inhibitor down now, and Dplus Kia just walk in the minions. FlyQuest, at some point you gotta go for it, because right now your Nexus towers are under siege. The Zenith Blade wide, inspired, flashes, looks for the curse of the Sad Mummy. Lucid falls with a Magnus Storm on the back line is devastating. FlyQuest slain where they stand, and Dplus Kia will take the game away. FlyQuest fought back valiantly, but in the end there was only one victor today. Dplus Kia go to 2-0.
The LCK find themselves with winning ways today, as every single team was able to win out on their opposition. And Dplus Kia will join the 2-0 teams. A chaotic game, an entertaining game. Let's hear from the AD as to what they thought about this game.
Entertaining for sure, but I don't think that's what we want. I'm gonna turn to Raz
Heartbroken,
first
maybe.
Here. Yeah, right?
Better turn.
That last fight, man. But some good elements from FlyQuest, I feel.
Yeah, 100%. I think when they were able to come back in, for me, it was the pick on ShowMaker and Moham 17 minutes in. And